Welcome everybody to session 10 of the Archetypical Mind Study Group. Today we're going to start working on the next 7 archetypes, which are the archetypes of the body. So today we decided that we would start with kind of like an overview of the archetypes of the body rather than going directly into the next archetype matrix of the body. Andi collected beautiful quotes for us this week because there's not much of raw that we can share. However, the quotes are long, so please bear with us. They span more than one slide each. We're going to start with the prayer of light.
Love before me, love behind me, love at my left, love at my right, love above me, love below me, love in me, love in my surroundings, love to all, love to the universe. Peace before me, peace behind me, peace at my left, peace at my right, peace above me, peace below me, peace in me, peace in my surroundings, peace to all, peace to the universe. Light before me, light behind me, light at my left, light at my right, light above me, light below me, light in me, light in my surroundings, light to all, light to the universe.
We thank the one infinite creator for this opportunity to serve, to know ourselves, to accept ourselves, and to become creators. Let our hearts be filled with gratitude to those of Ra for bringing us the archetypes as a tool for this inner work, and those of Quo for extending our knowledge of these tools. We extend our gratitude to the channeling team at LL Research for bringing us this knowledge. We invite Quo to join us in this working. We also invite our guides, our higher selves, and the Ascended Masters to grace us with your presence and to show us what we need to know. May all beings find what they truly seek. Amen.
Ra. The body is the creature of the mind and is the instrument of manifestation for the fruits of mind and spirit. Therefore, you may see the body as providing the athanor through which the alchemist manifests gold.
Those on this planet in the third density are able to recognize their selfhood on a very basic level in the expression of body, in the way it, or rather they, communicate their identity through their physical vehicle, or the way they allow the physical vehicle to inform identity.
In the system of images, which we of the Confederation have often spoken to your group concerning, the archetypal images are divided into 3 groups: those that pertain to the body, those that pertain to the mind, and those that pertain to the spirit. In each of the 3 systems, there is a matrix, which is a still and unmoving structure that is a receptor web that has only very limited ability to act. What it can do is desire, it can reach. This is the nature of the matrix. It is essentially a structure into which catalyst will come and through which catalyst will be processed into experience. In these 3 systems, the potentiator is that which is able to fertilize or make fruitful the matrix.
There is a dynamic between matrix and potentiator then. The basic dynamic is that in the mind, the reacher and the reached. In the body is in constant motion, and the controller of that body And in the spirit, the unreaching, unhasting darkness of spirit, waiting for, hoping for, yearning for, and desiring information about itself. And out of the dynamic of that dark yearning comes the potentiator of the spirit, which is light.
Let us take a moment to gaze at the power and the peace of this situation, of the empires of mind and body and spirit, of the supple and lithe connections between body and mind, mind and spirit, spirit and body. The spirit, the soul, the entity that each of you is a crystalline shape, a snowflake, shall we say, a beautiful crystal. Each of you is unique. Each of you has your own beauty. Each of you has your own symmetry. And within your crystal, each of you is working with those perceived flaws, those clinging barnacles of matter that are not the gem.
Each of you seeks the light of spirit to inform and advise. Each of you, then, has laid before you a tremendous range of resources upon which you can rely with your linear intellectual mind, and with all the powers of ratiocination that you have at your command, with the grace and rhythm of the pulsing body that in its instinct and in its essence is so completely aware as a second density creature is of the love and the light, of the harmony and the unity of the creation and the infinite creator, and of the tremendous strength of that creature, which is the spirit.
We would begin by considering the actions of the mind as opposed to the actions of the body complex, seen archetypically. Whereas in the archetypes of the body, the potentiator is wisdom, which produces careful choices of action and inaction. Within the mind complex, it is the feminine principle which regulates or potentiates action or the manner of inaction. The entity which finds itself to be male shall usually find itself to have a power within the body complex which cannot be explained simply by the size of the physical vehicle compared to the size of the feminine physical vehicle. There is a quality of the essence of power within that bodily strength which the female, biologically speaking, usually does not experience in the same way.
There is an intuition or sixth sense, if you will, which has a quality of power or of truth which the entity born biologically female usually experiences, not simply at a higher level than the male, but often in a different quality of energy. The choice maker for the physical complex can be seen to embody wisdom, whereas the power of the potentiator of the mind has its power, a kind of depth of the wisdom of the heart or compassion. And it is this compassion in its many subtleties to which the mind reaches for a depth of understanding of what the path of the seeker for truth might find helpful.
The query of the one known as A is one which seems to be about sexuality. And certainly we shall share some of our thinking concerning sexuality with you. For the body is as much a part of the entity as the mind or the spirit or the emotions. To ask the body to refrain from expressing its natural function is to ask the body to be a bit off balance. To the best of our ability, this would be our estimate of the difference between living without sexuality and living with sexuality. The entity which has expressed its sexuality, whether in the present or in the past, is a whole entity in a way that an entity which has forsworn sexuality cannot be. There is no loss of polarity if one chooses not to express sexuality, but there is a greater likelihood of a healthy energy body which has the vitality to persist in seeking if all natural functions are seen as beautiful and holy.
The body changes continuously, shedding its cells so that in 7 years there is not one cell in the human body that was there 7 years ago. The outer look of the human body changes, if not continuously, then rapidly, from infanthood to toddlerhood to childhood, to teenagehood, to young adulthood, to middle age, and then to those varieties of old age that entities wish not to label so as not to acknowledge. In the end, each entity is transformed from the womb through the bloom to the grave. Change is inevitable, and yet change seems to be feared. And if one is identifying oneself with one's body, then there is every reason to have fear, for the death of the body is inevitable. Thusly, it is easy to make fear-based choices when confronted with change.
Beautiful. It is very helpful to call upon the knowledge that each has of the scientific nature of form. Each form which you may consider is almost entirely made of space. You as an entity are a collection of energy fields holding cells together in a certain configuration. Each cell is almost entirely space. Your body looks like the Milky Way to an entity that is able to look into the microscopic structure of your world. The chair upon which you sit is mostly space, but its energy field holds it together so that you do not fall through the chair or the floor. And so the illusion remains intact.
And yet, who you are has nothing to do with your form. What you think as a soul has nothing to do with forms. Again, this is not obvious on the surface of things. It is no wonder that you begin your incarnation completely beguiled by form. Am I pretty? Am I rich? Am I smart? Am I strong? Am I good? Am I powerful? These questions are asked and answered on the level of the illusion, and no wisdom comes from the questioning. And the responses as long as the questions remain on the level of form. In form, there is always relativity. If you are smart, someone is smarter. If you are rich, someone is richer, and so forth. In order to penetrate to the level of the school of third density life, where the lessons are truly learned, you must penetrate through form into consciousness.
Consciousness has its home in all of the spaces that we have mentioned. Consciousness interpenetrates every cell of your body and every cell of everyone else's body. It penetrates the earth itself and the heavens, and it is all one thing. You, as a spark of the infinite creator, are a focusing spark, an observation point. You are a witness to the love and the light of the infinite creator. You are here to bear witness, to experience, to collect these experiences as you would a bouquet of flowers, and then to offer that bouquet to the infinite creator.
When we see you, we do not see form. We see a different level of illusion, which we would call vibration. We see your vibratory display as if it were the petals of a flower of infinite beauty unfurled for us to see. Every quirk, every imbalance that colors you in this or that way, we see not as mistakes or errors in thinking, but as your own individual beauty. To us, you cannot make a mistake. To the creator, you cannot make a mistake. For just as you are, exactly as you are experiencing, you are gathering up information to offer to the creator.
That which this instrument called the mind-body-spirit complex takes a fragile dwelling place when it enters your illusion, and within this physical vehicle, this frail canoe which you must paddle along your time's river, your mind complex activity is considered as seated within the physical brain. This is indeed the portion of the chemical body within which the activities of consciousness manifest themselves within the physical vehicle. It is, however, shall we say, a leased rather than a purchased dwelling place. This is the cause of there being relatively little direct comparison betwixt the bicameral mind and the veiling process. I guess bicameral means the two sides, the two hemispheres of the brain.
You are not your body. You are not your personality. You are not your mind. You are not your emotions. You cannot exhaust the qualities of yourself, regardless of how long you look, how deeply you search, or how prayerfully you mine the rich lode of the deep mind in attempting to affix to the self a deeper and more permanent personality.
This does not mean that spiritual work is useless. It simply means that the power to be is so all-encompassing that the distortions laid upon that basic vibration of infinite love are quite small compared to the core reality of limitless life itself, vibrating in undistorted love, or shall we say, in minimally undistorted love. For all that is manifest as vibration has the distortion of free will and is therefore not a pure love vibration. Each of you is not here to work upon one's quality of life. This is not what we are suggesting.
It is our feeling that it is more indicative of the joy of creation to move the Kundalini in the Western manner for those who are of Western feelings and belief, simply because the physiological body needs, in most cases, a lifetime of preparation in order to move culturally into the subconscious rhythms and archetypes of a different belief system. Therefore, if you wish to ask the Guru's help, that is, in meditation, ask within if there is a difficulty with the sexuality, with a feeling of being worthwhile, with anything which might threaten the stability and comfort of the body. This should be worked with consciously and rooted out, that that energy center may be clear and energy flow through it.
We are not saying that each must have the sex life. We are saying that each must feel good about having a sex life, whether one is or is not in a relationship at the time. One must feel not only tolerant, but good when one thinks of one's passion and sexuality. For the passion that you feel at orgasm is your first experience of the steady state of the Creator. It is brief and fleeting, but it is an indication given as a gift and also as a perfectly practical means of evolving the species offered by the one infinite Creator.
And it is not necessary to move to a cave and block out all sensory input in order to work with the Kundalini. For this Kundalini is nothing more nor less than the way the body physiologically organizes the infinite instreamings of prana and those effects which various stars and galaxies have upon the entity, keeping it moving, keeping it alive, letting it flow through one. This is a goal much to be desired, for though the life has become simple, and as the one known as T would certainly say at this point, impersonal, it is also free for the first time in the life experience.
Oh, hold on. Okay, yeah, I think we reached the point of the car analogy.
Yeah, so this is the next step from the cake and poop analogy that I shared. So which also applies to the body, but I think the car one is a bit more specific. So I'll share it here. I don't know if it, other people, you might have a much more articulate, much more precise and accurate analogy, but this is how it helps me to look at things through metaphors and analogies. So I'm going to share this with you. So imagine you have a motor car, a car with an engine, and so the matrix is like the qualities of the car that makes the car a car, as opposed to a metal box or a glass thing or whatever. So things like like if a car is just sitting there and you can't use it, it's not really a car. It's got to be functional. So you've got to have, the axle has to be balanced, the tires have to be inflated, it's got to be oil, there's fuel in the tank, everything has to be, the conditions have to be a certain way in order for the car to be a car, like your body. You've got to have life force, there's certain things you need to be able to do, otherwise it's just a bunch of cells. And then the potentiator is like the person who has the knowledge about the car, and there's different levels of knowledge, so we might have the engineer who designed the car, the mechanic, or even the driver who drives the car. And there's like, even if you know nothing about cars and you only drive a car, you still know you're gonna like have to put oil and clean the windscreen and put fuel in it. So there's different levels of knowledge there, and the more we work with the potentiator, the more in touch we can be with our bodies and be more intuitive with the body's needs. So and then the next one is the catalyst. So the catalyst I relate to like the environment the car's in. So it's like if you live close to the sea, your car might be more prone to rust, or it's kind of sometimes things not always within your control, or they might be, but you're not consciously manifesting it, and it's just like what affects your body. It might just be time and old age, or it's just things outside the body that affect the body, or even in your mind, and the experience of the body is well, we see here the enchantress with the lion, and it's to me how the body responds to how the owner treats it. So let's say you've got you get heartburn and you deliberately eat really bad food, the body will kind of, like the lion, fight and roar and give you pain. Whereas if you're gentle with the body, you can tame the body. So that's that relationship. And then the significator of the body is like how what the body does, how like the car, what do cars do? They deteriorate over time. If you're driving it, if it's not like a vintage car that you just like put on display, and in which case it's not really a functional car, it's just like an object, but so like cars don't last forever, parts need replacing, and eventually it gets written off. And yeah, and then the transformation is like when the car is basically dead and you've got to like have it scrapped, and it's kind of no longer a car in a way. But then from there we move on to the great way, where like when we scrap the car, ideally, the parts can then be used for something else. The steel can be recycled, the glass can be recycled, and or even if like it gets thrown into a landfill, it still does something. And the great way is also the entire journey of the car, the conception of the car, the design from the very beginning of that batch of cars, and then the whole journey basically. And at the end, when the parts are recycled, then this can be seen as like an alchemizing process, where the car that used to be, say, the steel that was made into the car is then recycled to make, I don't know what we use steel for, buildings or gadgets or whatever. It gets transformed and has a different use. And there's this kind of like alchemy, where you turn scrap into something else. And after this, we then move into the archetypes of the spirit. So to be continued, we'll get to that in what's that? When we finish the body archetypes. Yeah. Is there
Wow.
another slide after this?
It's so, I don't think so. It's really interesting what you said about the great way, and you said about using it for scraps. I was immediately thinking about people who die in accidents and their organs are used to give life to other people. So
Yeah.
yeah, beautiful.
It's a really cool analogy, but I was particularly puzzled by the significator part, because it's the hanged man reverse, which is also like a card of initiation, I think. And I guess it's like you gotta like let go of some things. What would you why do you make the association with like the parts needing replacing and stuff?
Or letting go of youth and beauty.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it's it's necessary to see that with the transformation card as well, because they kind of overlap. But the hangman for me also represents surrender, like giving over of the body to be a kind of vehicle for the creator to work with. So and it's it's about letting go for me. I don't know. Does that answer your question, Guillermo?
Yeah, like letting go of your own body
Um,
as you're still writing it.
Not letting go of the body, but letting the body be a tool for the creator to experience itself and to manifest itself. It become clearer in the meditation.
Okay, so not letting go of the body,
Yeah.
but letting the body go on a journey.
Yeah, or I think like part of our service is not just to go out there and like do charity work and help people. Part of our service is accumulating experiences for the creator. So let's say, I don't know, you get a pimple, you can go, oh my God, this is hideous and I hate this pimple. You pick at it and then it, gets infected and like you're fighting this pimple, right? Or you can experience the pimple and offer that experience of having a pimple to the creator and without judging it. And, it's like, okay, pimple, I feel you, thank you. And then you move your conversation to the creator and say, I offer you this experience, and it's that's what I mean by letting go. It's not like not going, I need to control this and change this. And like, yeah.
Nice. Thanks.
So this meditation, it might get a bit intense. It's about moving the attention to the body. And the last cycle, the mind ended up with the chariot, which is the vehicle, and 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 then the next cycle, the body is a vehicle, and I guess that's why the car analogy sort of works. And so throughout this section, the next 7 cards will be working with the vehicle of the body, but also at the same time bringing out awareness to the body as being a creation that stems from the one original thought. Yeah. So let's start. Take a deep breath in. Hold. Out. Hold. In, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold, and relax. And now we relax our body from the bottom up, toes, up the feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, hips, moving up the torso, down the shoulders, elbows, wrists, arms and fingers. Relax the neck, moving your attention, relaxing your jaw, moving up to the crown of your head. And relax. Now we'll open up our chakras from the bottom. From the red ray energy center, open up your red ray energy center, your orange ray energy center, your yellow ray energy center, your green ray energy center, your blue ray energy center, your indigo ray energy center, and your violet ray energy center. And put all of your attention, as much of your attention as you can, all of it, at the crown of your head, at the top of your head, and as small an area as you can, your entire attention, on top of your head, in as small an area as you can. And notice what sensations there are there. Moving down the face and the back of your head. Yes. Throat, arms. Notice what sensations you feel on your torso. Move the attention down. Down your legs to your toes. Notice what your bodily sensations are. Become aware of the polarities that are occurring in your body. If you can feel your pulse, the heart beating in and out, if you can feel that expansion, contraction, the intake of breath and exhalation. What polarities can you find in your body? Is there a part of your body that's tense and another part that feels loose. Sit with that for a bit and see what polarities you observe. Is there a polarity of cold and heat? Okay, now stay with the polarity that you're observing and see if you can find the part of the self, the entity within the self that's regulating this. If it's the polarity of breath, who is regulating the breath? Who is regulating the temperature in your body? Now notice if there's any changes to the part of your body that you're observing. Is it still being regulated by the same aspect of the self? Is anything changing around you that's causing this change? Now observe your own response to this thing that you've brought your attention to, this event that's happening in your body, whether it's your breath or your heart beating, or the temperature, or the tension or looseness. How are you relating to it? How do you feel about it? What's your attitude towards it? Now you offer this experience to the Creator. And as you've offered this experience of this aspect of your body to the Creator, also offer your gratitude and become aware that by having this experience, you are serving the Creator. thank the Creator for this opportunity to serve. Now you can release this experience to the Creator, welcoming any other sensations, phenomena, events happening to your body. And bring your attention, all of your attention, to the center of your green ray energy center. All of your attention to the dip in the middle of your rib cage. Try and focus all of your attention on as small an area as possible for as long as you can.